Hey, what is up guys, Orhan here, and here I have one of the more unique phones to come out this year, the Moto Z. Now, the reason why I say that is because Moto Z has these Moto mods that you can attach to this phone to make it, quote, modular. But before we get into all that, let's actually take a look at the phone itself. Now, in terms of design, this has to be the phone with one of the best design choices for this year. The back is aluminum with glass on the top and bottom, and there's also the 13 megapixel camera. And underneath that you have the pins that work in conjunction with Moto mods, which we'll get to later on. On the top side you have the micro SD card slot, expandable up to 128 gigabytes, and on the bottom you have a single USB-C port. And if you haven't noticed yet, there's no headphone jack, so if you want to listen to wired audio, you have to use the included adapter, which kinda sucks, but oh well, we're in the future now, what can you do? On the front you have the 5.5-inch AMOLED display along with a mono front-facing speaker, which doesn't sound bad, but it definitely muffles at the highest volumes. But yeah, the overall design in this guy is premium to say the least. It's a pleasure to hold in the hand since the phone is only 5.2 millimeters thin. But one thing I don't like at all about the Moto Z is the fingerprint sensor. It just doesn't really match with the rest of the aesthetics of the device. Oh, and it's not a button despite how much it looks like one. The screen is pretty good, a 5.5-inch Quad HD AMOLED display with a pixel density of 535 pixels per inch. And compared side by side to other Quad HD panels out there, this one definitely resembles the kind of displays we see from Samsung. Without a doubt, one of the best displays on a phone right alongside the Note 7. Viewing angles are great, in fact pretty amazing. Like I said, right up there along with the Note 7. Overall, just an amazing display. In terms of performance, this thing is rocking the Snapdragon 820 clocked at 2.5 GHz, the Adreno 530 GPU, along with 4 gigs of RAM. And it also runs a fairly stock looking skin from Motorola, and paired with the flagship specs, this makes for a smooth media experience. But since the battery is only 2600 mAh, expect to charge your phone at least once during the day, because battery life is just barely average. But if you want a bigger built-in battery, you might want to consider the Moto Z Force. Now the camera. Cameras on Motorola phones were never really a strong point, and this generation is no different, but they managed to make it an average camera experience. It shoots 4K video at 30 FPS with support for HDR, and if you cared, it has a 5 megapixel camera on the front with an LED flash. But camera performance aside, this phone has one of the biggest camera humps on any phone, but it's probably the only one that serves a purpose. Meet Moto mods. They are basically components that you can attach to the device. The one I have here is just a style swap case, but there are mods that actually work with the metal pins at the bottom. The one I have here is just for style. But here's how it works. You line up the hole with the camera bump and put it on the case. It stays there due to magnets inside the phone, and as you can see, this one eliminates the camera hump completely. And like I said, there are mods that do a lot more than add style. For example, there are mods that act as battery packs, speakers, and even projectors. If you want a more detailed video on Moto mods, my friend John made a video all about it, so be sure to check it out. I'll leave a link below in the description. So overall, Moto mods aside, the Moto Z is an excellent phone on its own. And when it comes to Moto mods, I wouldn't really say they make the phone modular, but they add a level of modification to the phone. It's definitely a step in the right direction in terms of phones being modular, but we're not really there yet. And there you have it, just an overview of how this phone performed during the time that I used it. Till next time, my name is Orhan, and I'll see you guys in the next one.